Oakland, California, a city of edges and echoes. The town moves different, its rhythm shaped by struggle, by sound systems in the trunk, by mothers at the front lines, by murals painted not just to decorate, but to remember. It's a place where displacement and resistance have walked side by side for generations. The streets don't forget, and the people don't stop. Back in the 1940s and 50s, Black families came to Oakland in waves, leaving behind the Jim Crow South for wartime jobs in the shipyards. They built communities from the ground up, especially in West Oakland. Barbershops, soul food joints, corner stores, churches with choirs that could shake the rafters. It was a whole world, tight, proud, and self-contained. But even in the so-called liberal Bay Area, racism didn't pack up and leave. It just changed clothes. As those families settled, the city's leaders started drawing maps, the kind that labeled vibrant Black neighborhoods as blighted, the kind that greenlit freeway construction through homes, the kind that justified tearing down entire blocks in the name of urban renewal. West Oakland got hit hard. The Cypress Freeway was driven straight through it like a knife. BART tracks split the neighborhood again. Families were pushed out, businesses gone, front porches flattened. And still, the people stayed standing. In the middle of all this, on Merritt College's campus, two young men, Huey P. Newton and Bobby Seale, were watching. They saw the disconnect. They saw how Oakland's Black population was being policed but never protected, how kids were going hungry while the state built more jails, how the community was being told to wait, to be patient, to behave. They weren't having it. In 1966, Huey and Bobby formed the Black Panther Party for self-defense right here in Oakland. This wasn't some abstract revolution. They were responding to what they saw every day: police brutality, displacement, economic oppression. They started with law books and rifles, knowing their rights and ready to defend them. But their vision was deeper than confrontation. They believed in building real power, block by block. They created survival programs, free breakfast for children, community health clinics, legal aid. They handed out clothes. They educated the youth. They held the state accountable, and they looked good doing it. Berets, leather jackets, afros, presents. They weren't asking for dignity. They demanded it, and their power made the city and the country uncomfortable. The Panthers weren't just about protest. They were about community control, taking the wheel back from the powers that had long driven over Black lives. And it scared people in high places. The government launched COINTELPRO to dismantle the movement. Police raided Panther offices. Members were harassed, arrested, or killed. But the spirit they sparked could not be unlit. That energy still pulses through Oakland today. It shows up in tenant unions, in school walkouts, in protest chants, and pop-up clinics. It shows up when people take over homes to house the unhoused, like Moms for Housing did. It lives in the memory of the Panthers and their fearless belief that people could govern themselves if the systems refused to care. Meanwhile, across the town, other communities were carving out their own spaces of survival and identity. In East Oakland, Latinx families from Mexico, El Salvador, and beyond made Fruitvale their own. Corner by corner, they opened bakeries, botanicas, taquerias. They brought festivals, murals, and language into the mix. The neighborhood wasn't rich in money, but it was rich in culture. When developers tried to drop a parking structure next to Fruitvale BART, the community pushed back. Out of that came the Fruitvale Transit Village, a project led by local voices with housing and shops that actually served the people who lived there. It was proof that development didn't have to mean destruction. Oakland's car culture echoed that same fight to be seen. But forget what you know about lowriders in LA. Oakland rolled its own way. In the East, in the 80s and 90s, young heads hit the street in scrapers, muscle cars, old schools, and candy-painted Chevelles with slap-heavy sound systems. It wasn't just about stunting, it was about claiming space, identity, presence. Sideshows exploded at night, intersections full of screeching tires, smoke, dancers, laughter, energy. It was loud. It was Oakland. City officials hated it, called it chaos, passed laws to shut it down. But what they didn't understand was that this, too, was culture. Born in neighborhoods that the city neglected, sideshows became a stage for expression, a way for the overlooked to take center lane. Even as development pressures pushed families out, the people kept coming back to these spaces, reclaiming them with music, murals, protest, prayer. Displacement hit hard in North Oakland, Temescal, the lower bottoms. Rent shot up. Tech workers moved in. Longtime residents got pushed out of homes they'd been in for decades. The city didn't build enough to keep folks housed, but it built condos. It always builds condos. And yet, Oakland still resists. In Eastmont, Brookfield, Sobrante Park, people plant community gardens. They teach kids how to breakdance, how to paint, how to remember. They build mutual aid networks. They keep oral history alive. The culture doesn't disappear. It adapts. The memory of Huey and Bobby still walks through the town, not just in books or on t-shirts, but in the actions of everyday people who choose to stay, choose to fight, choose to dream. The Panthers didn't die, they multiplied. In the minds of organizers, in the hearts of teachers, in the beats from backyard studios, in the hands of aunties feeding the block. Oakland's fight isn't just about saving homes. It's about saving memory, about making sure a new building doesn't erase an old story, that a tech cafe doesn't silence the drums at the lake, that a fancy gallery doesn't wipe out the voices from the walls. This city has never been about being perfect. It's about being powerful. Messy, complex, radical, and rooted. The people here carry decades of struggle with pride. They know what they're up against, and they know who they are. Because in Oakland, the past isn't dead. It rides with you. It speaks through you. And if you listen close, it tells you this is ours. Still.